That the question you asked about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the situation is that the United States or the United States and Europe's interest in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is market. You see, when you combine the the landmass of the African continent, then it will be the biggest trade area in the world. It will be the biggest
Mhm.
trade area because it covers the whole continent and it covers population of almost 1.4 to 1.5 billion people. Okay, and of course we have been saying that Africa right now is the fastest growing population, in the world, while other parts the population is shrinking. And actually, if these white people were not even on our continent to try to impose people like Bill Gates and all those NGOs, if they were not on the continent trying to impose the population control agenda, birth control, Africa's population actually would have exceeded more than, I'm sure, $2 billion or 1.8 billion up to 2 billion, billion people. So that birth control has also affected the continent, that our population is not even where it is supposed to be because of the Western influence and Western emphasis. Reduce the population, but nevertheless, the population on the continent is still growing faster than all of them. Because when you go to the United States, you go to Europe, all of them, the populations are shrinking. You go to China, also the population is shrinking in China. So that is the when it comes. So Africa has a much bigger market. So the interest of Europe or the United States is that they want to export their goods here. Okay. So we've spoken about Boeing aircraft because right now the United States actually it doesn't have much. As you are seeing, if you go around Africa or to any country and you check how many goods they have made in America, made in the United States. So what they concentrate on now that they are manufacturing is high value goods, for example, aircraft. Okay, they would want to retain the African market and supply. They would want their aircraft to be the ones which service the whole African continent. When you talk of South Africa Airways, when you talk of Ethiopia Airways, which is the biggest, when you talk of Kenya Airways, Egypt Air, uh, Peace Air from Nigeria, Uganda Airlines. You see, like people like President Museveni when he was at the Africa continent, when he was at the U.S. Africa Summit recently, he also met. When you go and examine Museveni, when he was there, he met the people who are going to finance uh, the people who are going to finance the refinery, in Western Uganda, the 4.5 billion. But on top of that, he also met the the CEO of Boeing. So what does this tell you? Uganda bought some aircraft uh, to to restart Uganda Airlines. Okay, so
Mhm.
it bought some aircraft from. I think it bought it from it bought some from Boeing. I mean, it bought some from Airbus and also bought is it Embraer? No, I don't think it is Embraer. There's an aircraft manufacturer from Canada. Uh, so those are the aircraft which Uganda bought. So because of the way Uganda's economy is rapidly increasing and a lot of money is going to pour in because of the mining, Uganda has been depending majorly on agriculture since the 1960s and has not been doing a lot of mining. Even though it was mining in the past when it was a colony to Britain, that it was mining copper. Most of it, of course, was Britain was taking it. It was not benefiting the people, and the economy was not growing. Instead, it was Britain who was taking everything which was mined from copper. So right now, Uganda has a lot of minerals also. That is why you see a lot of interest in it. That when Museveni was there, he met uh, people from General Electric. General Electric, they manufacture medical equipment, they manufacture gas turbines, they manufacture steam turbines, they manufacture aircraft engines, you see. So those are the high value products. So they have interest in this. So these turbines are used in generation of energy using gas. You can generate electricity. So that means you can have control over the energy sector of the African continent by supplying these. And actually, all these companies, the person who leads this are their ambassadors. They are the ones who lead these projects. I mean, these quest, this quest for those markets. So that is where the Africa Continental Free Trade Area comes in. That Europe wants to sell its aircraft on the African continent. It wants to sell its high value goods. So when you're talking about, for example, turbines and aircraft engines, Europe has Rolls-Royce, which is in Britain. So they would want to sell those, and they would want to sell their electric cars. So that United States would want to sell the Teslas on the continent, on the African continent, the Ford, General Motors, Chevrolet, and all those. They would want to take advantage. And actually, the Secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is in Accra, the companies have already come there to assemble. Companies like Toyota, Volkswagen, which is from Germany, okay, Nissan, all these have come there to assemble, and they don't want to manufacture the parts there. So why have they come there? They have come there because they would use that opportunity, because Ghana fought on the card, using the card of Pan-Africanism, that they were they are pioneers in Pan-Africanism, to host the Secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is very important. So they were playing the card of having played that part, and of course that is Kwame Nkrumah. So Ghana was favored on that ground, that Ghana has been instrumental, and so Akufo-Addo was able to win that struggle to bring the Secretariat to Accra. So that is where it is now. So they would use that to try to coerce the government in Accra to allow them to establish factories here and assemble parts which they are manufactured in Europe, and they will bring it here. And when they assemble it here, then they will say it is made in Africa. You get it? Because the Africa Continental Free Trade Area demands that the products that are sold, their country of origin has to be an African country. So when you assemble products here, then definitely you can put a tag that it is made in Africa. It's made in Ghana. It's made in Nigeria. So because we see Volkswagen and all those, Volkswagen is even present, I think, also in Kenya. I don't know whether it left Kenya, but I think it is present in Nigeria, is present in Rwanda, is present in South Africa. Mercedes-Benz is present in South Africa. Ford is present in South Africa. So they have been taking advantage of that. And especially majority of the American companies, they almost have subsidiaries in South Africa. Do you get it? So they would want to take advantage of that market. And that is where they want to push out China. But their sinisterism now is much worse. These Europeans and Americans. They don't want to manufacture these things from here to bring the technology here, because they don't want us to use our own raw materials. They want to use our raw materials, extract them, send them, like uranium, lithium, cobalt. That is why you see they were signing contracts with the Democratic Republic of Congo, signing contracts with Zambia copper. Okay, copper, a lot of copper, that this is going to be used in the electric vehicles to make the motors, which we spoke about a time ago. And the lithium, the cobalt, we also mentioned that Congo has 70% of the cobalt of the world. So they need the cobalt for those electric batteries. Those batteries need cobalt inside. And Congo has 70% of the reserves all over the world. So they want to extract those materials. They don't want us to develop those materials and have factories which are processing. Because once you process here, then the jobs are going to remain here. You build the factories here, you create jobs here. That is why you see that when you are talking about Ethiopia Airlines buying, using a loan from the United States of 280 million, the jobs, there's an emphasis on the job. It will create American jobs. When you look at the publications in the media, they succinctly mention it that the contract, the loan that is being given to Ethiopia is for purchasing Boeing aircraft. Because Boeing is an American manufacturing aircraft. Ethiopia doesn't have manufacturing, it doesn't manufacture aircraft. So then they go ahead to mention that it will create 1,500 jobs in the United States. Do you see? So Ethiopia will just take the finished product. It will not even take the money. But they don't want to say that we are selling. They want to use the narrative that we are doing a favor to Ethiopia, or we are doing a favor to Africa. But it is an investment. They are going to get profit. They are going to get interest on those loans. Because when Ethiopia is paying back the 280 million, it will add interest, either 7%. Normally they do a 7 to 9%. That it will add that money of the 9%. To add like maybe 20 or 30 million on top, because that's approximately 30 million on top. And instead of paying 280, it will pay 310 million with extra 30 million. So that is business. They are doing business, but they claim that they are helping us. They are giving loans. So it's the same situation that you see that if they build a refinery, so for example, in Uganda, or build a pipeline, the refinery in Uganda, which they are going to build, they even mentioned it when you look at the media and what was published in the media. They want to have control over the production, the refining of the petrol, the distribution, okay, and the marketing, all of them. So that means they want to still retain control over the energy sector in the East Africa region. So they want to have a sole control over the refining of those resources, and then the marketing and distribution all over the region, like all over the East African region. Because if you look at the East African region, you do not have an oil refinery over there. So they want to do the same thing which they were doing. This is what Nkrumah spoke about when he's saying that imperialism does not change, in substance. It only changes in form. They change how. So they give concessions. Like, for example, the building of the oil refinery in Uganda and the oil pipeline is a concession because they didn't want to build it. They still wanted to extract the oil and send it out without you having a refinery. So this is where the weakness comes in, that they are getting weaker and weaker. The more you stand up, is the more you win. You stand up for what you believe in. That is what we spoke about, that consistency. And if you see people who give in easily, like President Nanado, when President Nanado went there to Washington, he should not have spoken about Burkina Faso and Ukraine. It's none of our business. He should have gone to press the United States, so that the United States should press Switzerland. Because these companies which are importing Ghana's cocoa are from Switzerland, majority of them are from Europe. The United States should use its power to coerce and press Switzerland to give the Ghanaian farmers you know, increase the price on cocoa. He's talking about Ukraine. So he's not consistent. So he will not be respected. Did you hear him signing any contracts when he was there? No. So instead, it is people like Prime Minister Abiy who are signing contracts of up to 500, $600 million. People like Museveni are signing up to, $4 billion, because these guys are consistent in their demands that we want to do this. And that is where consistency is very, very important. The more you are consistent and you want to defend yourself, defend your people, believe in what is good for your people and good for your continent, then these people will respect you. You wobble around, you are double talking like what President Akufo-Addo does and is doing, they will not respect you, because they know that they have you. They don't have to do anything to have you. They already have you. You see, so the only thing which he got is the loan of what? Of course, he got a loan, but that was the form of buying him out. And they coerced him the loan of $3 billion, which he signed with IMF. So that's the situation. So that is what they are looking. That's how they are looking at the what? That is how they are looking at the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. They want to use it and dump here their products, and that is because we also don't have the manufacturing facilities already which are at that level to compete. We don't have enough manufacturing. We don't have enough industries, and it is not very well planned that we have agreed that this part of the continent will manufacture this part of the continent will manufacture that. So you are going to find that these people will come and take advantage of that chaos. It's very chaotic, and at the end of the day, we may not benefit, we Africans. And their corporations will come here, start assembling and use that, and then take over our market, and we'll be again at the same level where we were at the end of the day. And this is what Nkrumah warned about. Nkrumah was saying that the issue of African unity is not an economic project. It is a political. It is a political project that can only be achieved by political means. The social and economic welfare and well-being of the African people will come through the political means. So what he means is that you have to unify politically first, make a strong government, foreign policy, single foreign policy, military, protect yourself, strengthen yourself and protect yourself, and prevent the exploitation. But now what we are doing, what these people who are there, who are present as leaders on the continent are doing, is that there's no protection to the trade area. There's no military to protect us. That's why you see United States has over more than 40 military bases on the continent. So they can easily come in. People like Akufo-Addo can invite the United States military, however they want, because there's no commitment, there's no political commitment to the interests of the African people. So everyone does whatever they want. And this is what Nkrumah was warning about, that if you go through the economic route, you are opening doors for further exploitation of the people and further exploitation of the African resources. And that is the journey where our people are going. That is the journey where our leaders are going right now. So that is the unfortunate thing. So to answer your question, that is the connection between the interests, how much the United States and Europe are interested in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And of course, Europe even published a document on this. Europe has already expressed huge interest in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Is because they want to sell products, take the resources, sell the products, the finished products. And the United States is the same thing. So come here, sabotage. You come here and sabotage the industries in Africa and destroy them, bring chaos, wars and stuff like that, extract the resources while people are fighting, send them to the United States and bring back products which are manufactured, engines, General Electric, like I told you about, Those people, they build the oil refineries, and they normally build the medical equipment and stuff like that. Bring back cars, bring back aircraft. Don't allow them to industrialize like what you are seeing in Ethiopia. The Ethiopia's struggle was build industrial parks and industrialize. So they are trying to stop this. That's the strategy. Because Ethiopia is is blending its domestic models with the Chinese model, and working with China to industrialize Ethiopia. So they don't want that, because that means you are going to use now the raw materials, and the raw materials are supposed to be used by Europe. Because when you use the raw materials here, then you are going to create jobs over here, and they don't want that. That means Europe is going to starve. Their people are going to be unemployed and stuff like that, and they are already having these problems. But this is not a trend which they can reverse, unfortunately. It will be very hard to reverse because the world has moved in a different way. And since in the past, the 60s, our ancestors, people like Nkrumah, had started talking to these people that they should look at cooperation instead of antagonism and a zero-sum game, playing a zero-sum game where they want to take everything and we will have nothing. They started, and when you spoke about these things, they kill you and overthrow you because you are trying to talk to them well. That, oh, let's cooperate. Let's not be antagonistic towards each other. Let us work together and share these resources which we have. They don't want that. And when the time now has come whereby systems have found a way, or whatever it is, I may say it is nature, then you see that they are calling summits, a US Africa summit, what EU Africa summit. Oh, we should be partners now. But our ancestors were talking about these things 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And when they spoke about them, you come and kill them, come and overthrow them. So the United States, which we are dealing with, and these Europeans, the whole West, they are like spoiled. I think they are like spoiled child. It is a spoiled child that you have to handle with care. You see? Because you give it food and it will kick it, and and it will kick the food and throw it down and start crying. That's how the Western people are. That's how the ruling class in the Western world is. So when you say what is right, they will come and kill you and remove you. And when things go bad, they are not going in their favor, then they will come to you and then they will start saying partnership and what. So that's why you see people like Martin Luther King Jr. They were killed, but these people were fighting for a better society. And I think there's even one author who said that it was one author, I think it's from the West, it's an American, who was saying that which kind of society is this that kills its best men, its best citizens in society? Which kind of society is this? The people who are fighting to make the society better, the same people they killed these people. So it's the same thing which happened to majority of our ancestors. You see that they destroyed, for example, the Black Panther, but the Black Panther actually introduced systems, for example, a breakfast for children, and the United States came and copied this, what the Black Panther was doing. You see, breakfast for children who are living in poor communities, in public schools, because children used to go to school when they're hungry. So the Black Panther looked at these things: free medical care, for the vulnerable people, the neglected people, the impoverished people. And the United States started copying these things, and now it gives breakfast, in public schools. So, but they killed all the people who were pioneering these things. That is what they did. They first destroyed them. You see, so to implement civil rights movements, black people to be voting in the United States, they had to first kill. He pushed Martin Luther King and the movement, the civil rights movement, pushed for black people electing, voting, in the United States, and then they killed him. You see, people like Malcolm X. So this is what we are dealing with, and that's when you see people like President Macky Sall. I saw President Macky Sall at this summit, and he was really looking tired of these people. Like you could see that his heart is heavy, like he's carrying so much responsibility, and you could see that in his body language, he's saying that what kind of people are these that they want zero-sum game. They don't want to cooperate. You could see it in his speech and his body that he's really tired. You see, so that is the nature of these Europeans and these Western people that we are dealing with. Yeah, so on the continental free trade area, that's how it is. Because we all want a better world, but these people, they make it impossible for us to have a better world. War, what, demonize this. They just want to take everything, give nothing. You see? So they want to create one world, which is heaven. They want to create heaven in one world and create hell in another world. That is why you see the mentality of this guy. I think he's called the European, official, who said that Africa is a farm and Europe is a what? It's a garden. So they can come to the farm anytime they want and do whatever they want in the farm. So that is the mentality. That's the zero-sum game. So that's the racism. So the mentality is that, and that's why you see bills, for example, bills like the HR 7311, which I believe that as Africans, we have to start a campaign around that bill and oppose it. So they are trying to advance the same racism which was advanced in the past, but in the same way that Africa cannot choose. They call it bill, maligning bill, Russia maligning bill. So they are trying to tell Africa that Africa cannot choose who to do business with. We will choose for Africa who to do business. So we'll pass a bill in the United States Congress. Russia should not be in Africa. So they should decide for Africa, as if Africa is an extension. So what they are trying to say is that Africa is an extension of the United States. So we'll pass a bill here, as if Africa is the 51st state of the United States. So we'll pass a bill in the United States and it has to affect Africa. We'll pass a bill on I mean, this is arrogance. And is arrogance racist, disrespectful? So this is how they look at the whole situation. So that is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which you wanted to know about, and how the United States and Europe, are interested in it. That is the level to which they are interested. But what they want to achieve is the same thing which Nkrumah spoke about in his book, Africa Must Unite, Neo-Colonialism, the last stage of imperialism. So it's the same thing. Markets, extract the resources, go and manufacture products in your country, create jobs over there, deny jobs to Africa, make sure Africa is not industrialized, and bring back the products and sell them. So that's the strategy. Sell the products to Africa